What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something which is of vital importance to all of us, and it's nutrition. So, what do we eat? Why do we eat? What's the food that's not necessarily very good for us, but what's the food which is very good for us? And how do we approach it? And what do we do in order to make the most of our experience? Let's start to talk about the reason why we approach the food in a certain way. Well, there's a reason for that. So most of us are attracted to highly caloric food. Well, that's the way our brains are hardwired since our ancestors were around. So what they used to do, they used to wake up in the morning, look for a prey and hunt, and if they were lucky, kill it. They would kill it, and they used to have as much as they could because they knew that that prey might have not been necessarily available in the next days to come. Therefore, they ate as much as they could, because probably in the next weeks or months, they would have not eaten. Whenever they saw fruits, which was the main source of energy, basically, because obviously fruits are natural and they contain natural sugar. So they used to eat also as much as they could, because they knew that maybe that tree would have not been readily available in the next days to come. But there was a reason for that. They needed energy, they needed fat, they needed proteins in order to ensure strength. So that fat that they needed was to insulate them. So what the fat does, it keeps us warm in a way. Because remember, there wasn't any central heating back then, because there wasn't any home. And if there was a home, for most of the time would have been probably a cave, if they were lucky. So the storage of fat would then provide insulation for our bodies. So that insulation was vital, basically. Energies, which was mainly from fruits, were also vital, because they had to run and look for the prey and eventually kill the prey. The proteins were, as I said, very important in order to ensure strength, and for those workouts that were normally experienced when the physical activity was demanding, for example, the killing of a prey, obviously then those muscles had to rebuild. And what was the main, most approachable component of our food in order to rebuild those muscles? Well, there were proteins. Perfect. From that, let's move now. Let's fast forward to nowadays. What happened to nowadays? What happened to us, basically, is that our brains have not changed much from our ancestors. When it comes to craving food, our basic instinct has pretty much remained the same, stayed the same. What's changed though is our lifestyles. We're not hunting anymore. We are, for most of the time, sitting at the desk, working on our laptop, making sure that we optimize, maximize our profit for our companies. So this has an impact, obviously, on our brains, on our bodies, and we don't need all those energies anymore. Those cravings are still there, but the food which is available has changed. The food is pretty much available on a daily basis. What we do nowadays is just we tap on an app, and the delivery guy is within 5 minutes at the doorstep delivering the food for us. Do we really need that? No, we don't need that. Do we live in the way that our ancestors used to live? No. And we don't have available, or even if there is availability of healthy foods like our ancestors had, we tend to prefer those kind of food which are not necessarily good for us. We tend to fry a lot. We tend to overeat food which is greasy and full of fat, which is not necessarily good for us. And then what we do, we don't really move much. And when we store all those fats and energies, and many times those energies come from refined sugar, which is literally very detrimental for our health, then we don't really have any time to burn those calories. We don't have any time. We don't really find that time to burn those calories because we are sedentary. Then our lives have become more stressful because our bosses are demanding more and more, especially during the pandemic. Our sedentary lives have been skyrocketing. So what do we do then? Well, the easiest answer and maybe the most fundamental thing is to cook food for ourselves. We can start to have the habit, and although we are still going to have not the healthiest food of the world, but at least we're having that kind of idea. We're having to start that kind of mindset of going to buy that food at the supermarket and then put it all together in the pan. Fry that pan, for example, not the pan, actually the food, and then have it for ourselves and for our kids, if we have kids, obviously. So we're starting to change a little bit and divert that path which had been so deep-rooted in our kind of ancestral needs. So now we're changing it. We're changing it to something which is going to be very beneficial for us. Because first of all, we are moving our bodies in order to get to the supermarket. We're not calling the delivery guy via an app in order to deliver our food in our doorstep. Then we are kind of putting all those ideas together in order to find the right match of all those vegetables and meat all together in order to cook that food. And also we are cooking that food. We are engaging in some kind of activity in the kitchen, so our body is moving, our brains is also trying to find the good solution in order to make that kind of food that we cooked palatable. So look at how much activity is involved when it comes to this routine. So that's my takeaway for the day. So although you are keeping those habits of ordering food, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But at least start to break that routine a little bit. And you can break that routine if you start to have the idea of going to the supermarket and buy the food for yourself and for your family. Then cook it and have fun with it. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. I'll see you next time. Peace out.